I don't know whether it will enhance it, but of course the idea is, from a normative theological perspective, it has to be an enhancement of the spirituality. I think that it is up to many people in the church, lay and clergy, who have had the blessing of some theological and spiritual education to share their insights and their experiences much more broadly. I wish that every baptized take their responsibility of witnessing to the gospel, of speaking with joy about how they experience community life, how they experience the Eucharist in particular, but also other forms of liturgy, and of course not to forget the diaconal activities. So I strongly believe that the synodal model and working towards more synodality in the church will create new opportunities to testify more deeply and more broadly and more widely, that is to more people, about the core of our faith, and that you can actually share how beautiful it is, how good it is, and how many blessings we can actually receive if we stand in a position of gratitude towards what has been given us, primarily in and through the Eucharist, the gift of Jesus Christ himself. That's a very good question, and I'm not a historian, so but I think that we need to look here into complex, simultaneous evolutions. It's not only the official church, the bishops and the curia and so forth, that were too slow to implement things and so forth and so forth. You can lament a lot about that, but I don't think that that is of any help for the future of the church. Although it is important to make very fine and correct historical analyses of all these impediments and obstacles, that is really important to lay bare the truth, the historical truth in this case. However, it is also, in addition to internal ecclesial processes, it's also largely due, I think, to societal and cultural and intellectual processes, that in different cultures and in different societies all over the world, things have rapidly changed in these same 60 years. And that has also immensely affected the life of the life of the church. So I think that in trying to work towards a fair analysis of what it is, what the causes are of the situation that we are now in, I think, so why has the church not been so synodal for over 60 years? It's a very complex question that requires a lot of reflection and a lot of detailed historical research to actually show what happened. But I think it is patterns both external to the church and internal to the church that sometimes have enhanced each other and sometimes have actually worked against each other. So, and the result of these investigations will give a variety of pictures depending on which cultures you write about, and also from which perspective you actually write. A sociologist will look at this history in a different way than a theologian, just to give one example. Again, I don't know whether that will happen, but I wish that it will happen. So, and I will, in my own capacity and my own position, do what I think is necessary in order to collaborate to that ideal of a fuller and even more active participation of the faithful, not only in the liturgy but in the life of the church as a whole. However, I think that, especially speaking from my own context in Western Europe, the church and the way in which she connects to youth is still very cerebral. It's at a cognitive level. To reach out via other means that has actually become very marginal. So, and catechesis, especially if you think that it has to do with cognitive processes, I think we are at present experiencing the very end of that. So the church should rethink, and the church is very good at rethinking. She has done that for 2,000 years, facing new challenges in society and culture. So I have great hopes that will be that will become possible. It will not attract masses, the first phase, but I think, and that is the point that I would like to make in this respect, I think that the church needs to think very thoroughly about how to be more attractive at the level of the senses, and the smell, the sound, the what you see. I think there is a lot of visual corruption in the church. There is many dirty things. There is many dark things. The smell is not good. The sound is old-fashioned. So I think that the sensual experience of both youth and adults needs to be taken much more seriously. If you also think about the brochures that we give them, the advertisement that we make, the style of that is in many cases actually it doesn't match with the younger generation. Maybe it's good from the point of view of the theologians behind it, or the church workers behind it, but it's not good for the youth. So I think there is a lot to be learned there from many different perspectives, so that the sensual experience of what it is to be church, to be in a church, is much more attractive than it is right now. In my context, I would say that the vast majority of the members of the church that have a visible sign of loyalty to the church, I'm defining itself very broadly, I'm including clergy, I'm including lay people, I'm including the bishops. I think that in Belgium, more than 95% of the Catholic faithful are very enthusiastic about synodality and about the way in which what Pope Francis has actually initiated. However, there is also, what I see at the parish level, at the diocesan level, a little bit less, but still, there is an enormous tiredness. Many people who had great hopes after the Second Vatican Council, it's the generation of my parents and others, they had great hopes, and very little of it is actually realized. So we are still struggling with the same mentalities. And in a way, sometimes if I allow myself to be pessimistic, I think that the whole synodality process is too little too late. But of course, I cannot be pessimistic. I should have hopes, and I do have hopes that it will have new energy. But here I see a very important impediment or obstacle in my church. Many people who actually want to make something of it, they're tired. They're sometimes also retired. And you cannot actually have the new energy for the next generations depend on the exact same generation that is actually frustrated about the previous phase. And I think that will be an important challenge for the church in my country, not in the decades, but in the years to come.